What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. Today, we got a special guest on. You probably already know who it is, but Jay, man, tell the people who you are, talk a little bit about you, and we're going to get into your story.
If y'all don't know by now, I'm Jay Williams from Jay Williams Life's Up Loop on YouTube, where I talk about my life, my time in prison, my time in the streets, and just whatever it is I feel like talking about that day.
Jay, man, you're doing big things. I mean, there's, a lot of things going on in your life. You've done some big things. You're kind of an inspiration for a lot of people, inspiration to me. Let's talk about you, though, man. What was your life like growing up?
My life was chaos. I had both my parents. My dad, prior to me being born, went to prison. He caught a homicide charge, self-defense, did a couple of years. Then he gets out and he makes me. And he come from a large family. My dad, believe it or not, a lot of people argue this. I've got pictures. My dad grew up in Cherokee, North Carolina on a reservation where they did things, the old child abuse was not a thing. People beat other people's kids, and that was normal. You know what I mean? So for you to beat your kid, like nobody's going to step in and say anything. So as he gets older, he starts having kids. He brings that same treatment that he got as a kid to us. When I say he's a violent man, he's a violent man. I'm talking the type of POS to punch a 5-year-old in the face. And to him, that was acceptable. So from an early age, I knew two things. One, that he was a very bad person. And two, that we were poor. My dad was also one of those men that if he couldn't make a large amount of money at one time from working, he wasn't going to work. He was just going to sit around and smoke butt all day. So it left my mom, back to my earliest memories, I'm talking 4 or 5 years old, working 3 jobs, where she would, get off, come in and crash out on the couch for an hour before our next shift. So at times we were kind of just unsupervised, me and my brothers and sisters. I got one brother or 2 sisters. So my dad's out doing whatever he's doing, ripping and running. My mom's working 3 jobs, and then you got us. And on top of it, we're living at the time, we're living in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we're in trailer parks. Anybody knows about the trailer parks? The trailer parks are just a white version of the projects. It's where you go when you've hit rock bottom. When you leave the trailer park and you go downwards, you go to motel. You know what I mean? The trailer park is the escape from the motel. So it was rough, and it was very, very violent. I'm not going to say we didn't always have what we needed, we ate, or we didn't have what we wanted. We didn't have the nice clothes. We didn't have the nice shoes. Got picked on. I was a smaller child. Hair didn't stay cut. Hair stayed shabby. You got other kids in school. They keep the fresh fade. They got the Nikes on. And you got me in there with the bubbles. So I couldn't have that. So I started stealing. That would really legitimately be like what got me into stealing is I wanted what the other kids had. So any opportunity I seen it, and it was unsupervised or I could grab it and run it, I would. And it was all in the name of just trying to fit in it first. The starter jackets, I'm going to the store, I'm putting the starter jacket on, I'm running away. You know what I mean? I'll pop the ink tag off, and there's been a couple of times I've had to clear out where the ink tag was. We were poor. I was also one of those kids that I was easily influenced by my surroundings. With my father being a criminal, he kind of set the pace for, kind of who I was going to be. Crime was an everyday thing, not only in my neighborhood, but in my household. I watched my father hustle. I watched my father beat my mom, beat us. Like, it was just all around bad. So I was never that kid that needed a crowd to get in trouble. I was the kid that could be walking down the streets by himself, and rather than find a stick and go smack something with it, I would go break into a house. And you're talking 8, 9 years old. I'm in there stealing toys. Transformers, garbage pail kids. I'm stealing the basic things that other kids have and need.
Let me ask you this, right? You talked about growing up poor, man. I got a similar story, right? Grew up poor, single mother on welfare, stepfather comes in the picture. You're a hustler, man, and there's no doubt about that. You hustle, man, and you do good things, right? But do you believe that growing up poor gave you the drive to hustle so hard, to want more, to want things in life?
1,000%. I took what I learned in the streets and I applied it to what y'all see now. I applied it to the construction company. With being a hustler, you got to be able to sell something even when it's unsellable. You know that what you got your hand is garbage, but you still got to get that money for it. You're still going to try to get more than you want for it. I do the same thing, not to say I sell a garbage product, my construction company where you want, but my mouthpiece. I can sell you something you don't want. You might have wanted to get your windows replaced. By the time I'm done, you're getting the windows replaced, bathrooms remodeled, and a new roof on the house because I've sold that one. But that fear of letting my kids go through what I went through, you know what I'm saying? That fear of failing, that fear of that life coming back to life pushes me. And I don't think I've even come close to reaching the pinnacle or a point to where I'm content. I'm not content where I'm at right now. Because if I die right now, yes, my kids are taken care of, my wife is taken care of, but for only a limited time. A matter of time, that money's going to run out, and they're not going to know what to do. 100% being poor pushes me. I told myself, I said, I'm going to get up out of this. I remember being a teenager, right? I was hustling, and I really started to see some money. And I started out like anybody else, selling that Reggie Miller, just that, an old Mexican brick bag. That's what I had. And from there, I graduated. And I'll never forget the day that it happened. I was out there and I was set up in my same spot I always sat. I had one spot. I go to this park. This park was jumping. Type of park you see dudes splitting Dutches and splitting Phillies. You know what I mean? Everywhere you look, there's a fly wrapper on the ground or a cardinal wrapper or a black and out, right? It's just a trashy park. So I would post up, I would pop my hands for the day. I started drinking at a young age. So I'd be out there with the brown bag. And I got a pocket full of nicks and dimes. And a white couple pulls up and they see me. And he whistles, calls me over. So I hop off like any other day. Hey, I'm going to go over there. I'm going to, he's going to cop a couple dimes. I'll do you 4 for 30. That type of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, but you would have lived. And I pull out and I saw him. He's like, and he got what I want. I'm like, what you looking for? He's like, I'm looking for hardball. I want the hardball. Bit of the streets, I know what hardball is. You know what I mean? Can you get that? And I'm like, yeah, but try to give me the money. I'm not going to give you the money to run off. I'm like, dude, I'm here every day. I'm not going to beat you at $40. It's funky as $40. So I change up the block and I go to where the older dudes are, and that's what they sell. And I go to them, they're like, young boy, you smoking that? Man, come on now. No, I got it. I got a lit. He once. He's like, well, here. So he gives me what I'm supposed to give them. And then essentially, and I'm looking back on it, he dropped me in. He gave me them that. And then he gave me this. He said to the plucks, I will give them this. But if you're hustling for me, I'm going to give you this. So instead of giving me a 40, he gave me a 60. He gave me the 40 and then a separate dub. So I said, okay. So I take them up there, boom, I give that to them. They're like, you get more? And I said, yeah. So they come back. I got, the money in my pocket or whatnot. I go back and I chop more. Now, they tell a couple people, and it was fast. It was fast. They liked the fact that they were dealing, and it's nothing racist. They liked the fact that they were dealing with a white dude. You know what I mean? They're already sketchy coming into this neighborhood where people been robbed, people been, they lost their lives. Now they've got a decent white dude that, and I'm not going to rip them off, I'm not going to run off. Instantly, it went from, I had a pocket full of nicks and dimes to I had a pockets full of, 20s and 50s. And that's when the money really, really started to come. But when you graduate that way, you go from dealing with the stoners to the dudes that'll beg, to the dudes that'll rob you, to the guys that are trying to trade you things. You know what I mean? Once I started seeing that money, it was balls to the wall. It was, how much bigger can I get? How much bigger can I get? I want to go cop from him the more. I want to cop from he cops for. I eventually want to be the guy that he cops for.
That's what I want to ask you about. That's what I want to ask you about next, Jay. So now you're out here, you're hustling, man, kind of petty hustler at the time. These people pull up on you, like you said. I mean, it's all too familiar, right? They do feel more comfortable when people come into the hood, like, man, I'd rather, they've been robbed over here, robbed over there, not on no racial shit, but it's real and it's raw. This is what it is. So now, you're dealing with dude. Are you starting to think like, damn, I got to meet the connect? So when you do meet someone, are you like, damn, I'm at the Connect, now it's on? How do you feel when that happens?
I started shopping around is what I did, man. I knew other dudes that hustle. And the first thing I would ask him is like, who you dealing with? And dudes try to, now dudes are the real secrets. Y'all want to be known about. But I would look around and look around and look around. And crazy enough, it was a dude I knew from a long time ago that he snorted powder. And I went over to his house one day. He was looking for some trees. And I came by and I smelled it in the air. You know that smell when somebody smoked a hardball. I smell it. And I'm like, smoking? And he's like, yeah, they in the back smoking. Why, what's up? And I'm like, who y'all get from? Like, maybe I'll give y'all a better deal. And he's like, no, maybe I can give you a better deal. And like that, I was like, so what are we talking about a deal? And he's like, $5,000 for 100. I said, come again? He was like, $5,000 for 100. I said, let me see it. And, right when you hear something, you want to see it. That's too good to be true. It's got to be some garbage. Pulls it out. I'm like, all right, fill the phone. I start dealing with him. Now, to the average person, that might not sound like a lot, but I'm flat-footing these grams. I'm bringing it back, if I'm skipping them, I'm getting 620s out of a gram. If they're skimp, or if I'm doing it straight by the book, I'm getting 5 out of a gram. So I'm taking 100, I'll flip it. You're going to take losses. You're going to cut deals. That's the game. You know what I mean? Every single person, 99.9% of the times, if they got 50 in their pocket, they're trying to get 60. So when you bag up, you kind of round it out to the little loss you're going to take. But I went from making $20, $40 to give him 100, and within an hour or so, I'm done with those 5 grams. They're bagged up, they're gone, and I'm back. So in that hour, I took that 100, flipped it to 400. Now, if I can do that on a consistent basis and not get locked up, it's an amazing feeling. I don't have to steal anymore. I can go in there and cop what I want. To the girls that are hanging out with me, they instantly started thinking I was bigger than I was. And in a sense, I was becoming bigger than I realized. Because I was also the guy that, to the guys around me that was still paying stupid prices, 50, 60 a gram. I'll give you 2 for 60.
Where were you at?
Still making my money.
Where were you at this time? In Charlotte?
I was here in Richmond, Virginia.
What's it like for a white dude, man, selling crack in Richmond, Virginia? Is it dangerous?
Beyond dangerous. Now, you just hate the word. I had bless his heart, rest in peace to Quan. I had a homeboy, man, that was, he was savage out there. And he was no. And when I first started trying to hustle out there, he was pulled up on me. And remember the Mazda FEVs, the vans?
Yeah.
This block pulls up, and I had never really served a black dude that was clean cut, if that makes sense. I served a lot of construction worker dudes that were black and dudes that just like to rummage the streets all day. But I knew something was different when they rolled up. I walk up to the window, and he's barely got it cracked to where I can't really see in there. And he passes the money out. I'm like trying to get a glimpse. And I know there's a lot of people in this van. So he passes the money out the window, and I drop the bags, and then they pull off. Another car pulls up, and as I'm in the midst of dealing with this car, they circled the block, and they hopped out, laid me down. Ran my pockets, guns all sides. So I had, saw a block. You come back right here again, next time you won't see it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, damn. So I go to my homeboy Quan. Quan lives out here. He's a resident. These are the streets. He's known. He's put in work. And I tell him about the situation. He's like, come on, come with me. And I'm like, where you going? He said, we want to address this. And I'm not going to lie, I'm young. You're talking 15, 16. This dude he is what he is. You know what I mean? Read between the lines. He's like, now you go on with me. So I'm like, Dad. So we go up the street. And he takes me right to the house where the van is parked. Walks up on a step. He's like, oh, it's my guy right there. Give me the shit there. And they're like, And like, you don't even have to say anything. He gives them that look, and the way like, oh, go grab his shit. And they come back out. I'm talking every little thing. They took the jewelry off of me. And people just say what they want about what you're going to do, how you're going to do this, you're going to do that. It's a whole different game when that steel gets pressed to the side of your head, and you really don't know if any second your light's about to go out. It's a different game. It'll prefer you. But he talked to these dudes, and by the end of the night, we were smoking together. We were laughing together. We were joking together. He gave me my step in. He gave me that opportunity to actually be out there on my own. He actually grinded with me a couple of times after that. And we would in the future. We'd be out there posting up. He'd be across the street and I'd be across the street. Everything was good. But it got to a point where everybody out there come to know me. But in the beginning, it was terrifying. It was terrifying.
When you're out there getting money, right, and they lay you down like that, what's going through your mind when they got you laid out? You thinking, damn, this is it. It's over with.
Oh, no. I told him. I see, I'll tell you, just don't shoot. Like straight up. It ain't no, I'm just laying there quiet also. Y'all gonna see me again. No, if you're saying stuff like that, like, you don't have much value in your life. These dudes ain't playing. Like, I told them 100%, like I said, no cap. I told them, yo, say whatever y'all want, man, just don't shoot. I'm on the ground, and this is what I'm telling them. Say whatever y'all want, just don't shoot me. Because at the end of the day, your number one goal is to get home without going to jail and get home without getting hurt. As they ran it.
Before you go get your homie Quan, right, and you're walking over there, you thinking in your mind, like, this is it, man, I'm done with this shit.
No, I'm thinking, legitimately, my mind is thinking, where can I move to next? Like, the marathon continues. I've got to continue doing what I'm doing, but I've got a little I've got like a reputation. People know to find me out here. I lived out there. So my next thought is, all right, where can I relocate to? All right, they definitely don't want me out here. And I'm like, he wanted get up off this block because people are found out here. This ain't like I would be the first one to get found out here. They find bodies out here. I'm just going to become another body out here. But my mind really changed. There was a Taco Bell across the street and an alley back there that I'd see cars, like people that don't know the area like that. They just know people direct them, go that way. Driving through these alleyways. So I'm thinking, I'm done over here, man. That ain't even worth it. I'll go around the Taco Bell. That's why I had to bring her on. And he's like, nah, did it. And he went up there on some really violent type stuff to where, I mean, these dudes eventually, these same crowd of dudes ended up taking his life. But no, there was no option of I'm done. I was already too deep. The money is addicting. It's hard to get that type of money doing anything else as far as construction goes at 14, 15 years old to go make $2-3 grand in a matter of a day. Where else am I going to do that?
That's my next question. Well, one of my next questions is, you keep a gun on you?
Yes. After that, here's the thing. I got caught lacking twice. And that was one of the times. And the reason was earlier that day, me and a friend of mine, rest in peace, we're out there because hold up on us. A dude actually come up in a wheelchair. Just two wheels up in a wheelchair. I'm like thinking, and there's like gravel, but the road's got potholes. Like, this ain't a sidewalk, this is a road. And he's like, comes wheeling up in his wheelchair. Everything seems good. Now, serving wheels off. And there's a trailer park up the way outside the projects. He wheels his chair into there where we can't see him, and we're standing there talking. Right about that time, I see cars go flying up out of that trailer park straight toward us. Take off randomly, hit the fences, boom. Goes over to the house. He crawls underneath the porch, goes to the crawl space, slams him down his throat, swallows him. I keep running. I jump a bunch of fences. I come in through my back door. I shut the sliding glass door, turn all the lights. I'm looking out the windows, and they're out there. They're riding around. They've got the cops out there now with the spotlight shining on the window, the houses, and through alleyways and in the bushes. So I waited a little bit, and they disappeared. So I was already spooked. And I had the thing on me at the time, so I'm like, I'm gonna go back out there. It's a Friday, Saturday type thing. It's one of the biggest money-making days of the week. Everybody out there's getting money. I can't take the risk of just, oh man, they cops are enough. I'm just gonna sit in the house. So I'm like, you're talking a large amount of money is coming down this block. To the point, sometimes there's 6, 7, 8 cars stopped like it's KFC. And there's so many guys, like, you got them jumping over top of each other, like showing the people in the car, like, well, check me out. Run out both windows, you got to either be a wrong turn coming through here. That's carless around it with dope boys that are in their car scared to death. It was not, but after that, I got caught one time earlier, like a couple years earlier than that, but after that, no, it was on. Like, if you can catch me, the police are going to catch me in the act of that. I'll never be caught us because I run. But after that, no, I kept it on. And then I keep it in my hoodie pocket, not in my pants pocket, not in my waistline. Like if I felt unsure, I would have my hands in my hoodie with my finger on the trigger, ready to fire through the hoodie.
Talking about making 2-3 grand a day sounds enticing. I'm sure that every day wasn't like that. Not when you're out there hustling like that. But, Friday nights, Saturday nights, these are the nights. Once in a while, I'll be during the week like a Tuesday night. Like, damn, should be jumping on Tuesdays. But not to glamorize that life, but to say this, right? So you make 2-3 grand. Was it worth your life?
No. None of it, I mean, looking back on it, none of it was worth it. None of it. And I do not nor will I ever glorify to anybody watching. Do not get the bright idea to go pick up a pack or to pick up a firearm and go out there and try doing that. First of all, we live in a new world where rather than people coming to lay you down, they'll just call the cops and tell on you and get you taken up off the block. It was addictive. And to anybody that's ever been in that, sometimes it's not so much the money, it's the lifestyle. It's the pager going off at the time, the phone ringing, the chase of the money, the meeting up, the whole, I love the game. I love the hand-to-hand. I love the bagging up. You know what I mean? To the ironing the corners of the baggies and tying them in knots. I loved everything about the game. But was it worth it? No. It was stupid. I could have done what everybody, I grew up around some hardworking men. I can't ever take that away from them. I had some men around me that worked really hard. My mother, take the men out of the equation. I had a mom that worked 3 jobs for as far back as I can remember. That also plays a big part in my work ethic this day. But I chose like the fast money. And once you start getting it, the lifestyle that comes with it is addictive. Sometimes it's not the money. It's just it becomes normal. And you start to enjoy it. You start to get known for it. And when you're not chasing the money, it's a rush that comes with that life.
When we talk about the rush, right? I've been there. Do you think it's the power, right? And not to harp on me or nothing, but when I was arrested in the newspaper articles, they said that we would have houses with 4 or 5 bedrooms with 2 prostitutes in each room. They could bring their dates there as long as they were spending their money. But you feel like you got the power over everybody, man, over the prostitutes. You got the best product in the neighborhood. And, not on no racial shit, but I was white, bro, and I had the best shit. People would be standing out on the courts about, yo, we got Chads. They're like, no, you don't. We're going over here. And, like I've mentioned this on my station, my father was like a super important, famous crackhead in my neighborhood. I hate to say that, bro. Like my dad was that dude. So all the white people knew, oh, that's Chuck's son in the beginning. But do you feel like when we talk about the power, that's what it was? That was the rush, that you had power over other people?
100%. It's almost like you look back at the popular kids in high school. Why were they popular? They were popular because of the cars they drove. They were popular because of the sports they played, the way they loved. Most of them, it was very seldom the poor kid was the popular. If he was popular for the wrong things, like being a delinquent that gets locked up or all the wrong reasons. Once you become on some level the man, you really become popular. Especially when you start growing a little more and the females start not getting interested in just what you can do, but what you have. You know what I mean? Her last man had he's riding around in the Ford Escort, and this is Mercedes ML 320. If there's a big, big difference when it comes to what you can offer power, 100%. Who doesn't want to be the man? Who doesn't want to walk into the party where dudes have had over the same jeans for 3 days, their fitteds creased, and you come in the fresh white forces with an all-white set, you know what I mean? And you stand out. That was addicting in itself. You're messing with females that 100%. And if you didn't have all this, that wouldn't exist. She wouldn't even look at you twice. So, I mean, I did. I enjoyed it. It was another part of the addiction of investment.
You were all the way immersed in the crack game then, we could say.
Yeah, I didn't stone off like that, though. Like, I did that. I made that switch for that dude that day. And then I really what I come to realize is I need to learn to cook. I need to learn to cook. Oh, my homeboy Ham, that's what he did. Like I've seen him mess up 4 ounces and throw in the trash. That's when I knew he was really doing his thing. He didn't freak out over them 4 ounces he just messed up and he just dunked it. I looked at him different. Like, yo, this dude is like, he's somebody.
Microwave or on the stove? Microwave or stove?
He was in the stove. He was in the stove, and I didn't know Pyrex could explode. I had no clue Pyrex could explode. But I don't know what he had done, pulled it out, and he ran it underneath water, ice cold water, and he did it pop. And I remember like he had these little like blisters where it stuck to his face. It was all over his mom's kitchen wall. It was all over the curtains. Like it popped like a firecracker. And once I learned to cook, it really, really changed the game because I could then take what I would usually get, and instead of going and getting hard, I would go get soft. I would make my own mixture. I would cook it, and I would bring back more. But sometimes I wasn't so much concerned with bringing back more. Sometimes less is more. You get what I was saying? Like, if I could push a better product than what you have, doesn't matter if the chunk I have is bigger than your chunk. If my 20 would do more to that guy than your 40 will, they're going to come to me every time. And I was bigger on quantity than I was quantity.
You know, some people don't understand that concept, right? And like I said, we're not glamorizing the drug game, but it's real and it's raw. You know, back then people would whip shit here. You know, you might get a 62 and turn it into 90 grams because you're whipping it. And you got trash. Now you got 90 grams, but it took you 3 weeks to sell it. I got a 62. And when I cook it, I might end up with 54 grams. But you know what? I'm going to sell it in 24 hours. So your profit,
The trash.
it takes you forever to sell your trash. My shit, I'm not making as much profit as you. But you know what? I'm doing it 7 times this week. You're doing it once every 3 weeks because your shit's trash. And a lot of people, man, in the hood just couldn't understand that concept. But I couldn't understand why.
Yeah, look, I remember my homeboy Uno, man. There was a drought. There was a bad drought. And cars were coming through. These same cars were like making it hot. They would come back to back. We're like, yo, we just told y'all ain't nothing happening. And when it's happening, you'll know it's happening. And when we were standing out front, there were these acorn trees, right? And we're on the street lighting steps on this acorn. And I don't know if you've ever seen an acorn, you first step on it, but if you take the inside of it out, the actual nut, it looks like butter.
Yeah.
He's looking at this acorn and he's like, yo, no. And like I said, it's dry. We're not making no money. So he's like, hold up real quick. So he runs to the house, gets a razor, comes back out. There's this little tree stump. He puts the acorn down, cuts it in the shape of a square. And he's like, oh, it was in a cellophane. He ties it up, burns it. First car pulls up and he goes to pull it out. What we don't know is that once you take it out the shell, it starts to turn brown. It doesn't keep that color. It starts to like change colors and turn brown. So dude's like straight. He's like, yeah. And he pulls out and looks at it. He's like, I mean, strange. So he waited till the next car came through. And someone just seen him cut it. He did it again. Oh, man, get up. Guy in the car would do. No, a lot of guys are. They want to test it. They've been ripped off before. So dude was like, come here. He's like, nah, the block is hot. Let me out the car. This dude's got an acorn wrapped up in a cellophane and don't know it, right? He's like, no, the block is hot. Let me out the car. He's like, well, I'm one vehicle. And all of a sudden, there's a fight on his door. It's about the car, right? We get to walking down the street. He's like, come on, let's go to the store, grab some beer. The dude beat him. The dude gave him 2 ones, right? So essentially, we get up the streets, and I'm like, man, dudes will circle back. He's like, oh, it doesn't matter. And then we get to the store, and he's like, he gave me 2 ones. You know, this dude came back and beefed and argued with us because he had ripped us off, and in a sense, we had ripped him off. But worse than that, the bigger thing was when the other dudes in the neighborhood found out that we had done that, it became a problem. Like, we could do that, take that somewhere else, but don't build a reputation around here for it. That's what we do. Like, we stand on ours. Even if our product is garbage, it is what it is. I was big on what you said, man. I was big on, even if I'm going to lose some in the cook-up process, our product is going to be just that much better.
You know what, though? I think we're both grateful that we don't live that life no more. It cost you many years of yours. It cost me a 40-year sentence, but I did 17 and a half on mine, bro.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. I didn't know. My charge is, I was lucky. The one good thing that came out of, you want to say white privilege, I can recall some white privilege. And my white privilege being, I could be in the projects and the police to roll up and they jump out on everybody. Now, I wouldn't go out there like a lot of dudes in like the fresh Sean John jeans and the Timbos. No, I wanted to look like I just got off work. A lot of times you would see me at work pants, dirty boots, you know what I mean, a dirty hoodie. And when the people would roll up and lay everybody up against the wall and start searching them, they would see me and they'd be like, hey, come here, wait, where's your stem at? And when I ain't got no stem, they'd search me for the stem. And all the time I've got everything jamming in my crack. They don't find the stem and they tell me, we know you're out here trying to cop, get up out of here. And they'd send me on the way. I'm out there also like everybody else, but because I was white, they weren't used to seeing a white guy. Then they caught on to it. When they would put up time and time again, and they would see also these dudes, they're like, oh, no, he's not out here copping. He's selling.
Where was your mother when you were out there selling crack, man? What was she thinking? Was she on you like, Jay, man, you got to stop this?
She didn't know. I used to lie to her. She would ask me where the stuff came from. And I had a couple of friends, man. And I would say, like, we went to the mall and their mom on board. Or my homeboy gave this to me. And it worked for a while. And then it all went to hell. And she was out front one day. They would live these apartments in their apartments. And these guys would used to come to the back. And I had the old folders came. I lived on the second floor with the string on it. And they would throw some at the windows before phones and all that. Pages were out. They would throw some at the window. And I would lower the can down. It serves the coffee can. They put the money in it. I pull the can up. I count the money I put in. And I lower it back down. My mom's downstairs. There's a sliding glass door right there. They're beside the sliding glass door doing all this. Well, I tell a dude early that day, I said, come out, let me a little bit. And he walks up and my mom's out front. And he approaches my mom as she's washing the car. And this would lead up to the end of me being around my mom and the kids and all that. And he approaches my mom. He's like, hey, you got such and such. She's like, oh, I won't do that around here. Like, go somewhere. And he's like, no, where's Jay at? She's like, what? He's like, where's Jay? I'm here for Jay. So she comes in, and I'm a wild child at this point. I done kicked my bedroom door in several times, so my door won't latch. The lock is broke. You know what I mean? Like, he can't, I have to move my dresser to keep my door closed. She comes to the room, and she's like, guy just come to me out front and asked me if I had a 20. And I told him I don't have any money. He was like, no, I'm not 20, like 20. And she was like, she's trying to get out of him, looking for you. So I do is tripping. I don't know what he's talking about. So she leaves out the room. After I denied it, she goes back to washing the car, and she doubled back, come back upstairs. I didn't move the dresser. In the process, I'm about to head out into the block. So I always kept smoke around, like always kept trees around too. I smoked a lot of trees, so there's nothing that I have a QP or have found at any given times with 1,000 seeds in it. You know what I mean? Packaged up, sits to the side. But I could see it so vividly. I had a stop sign. I used to keep, that's what I bagged up for. I had a stop sign we had torn down, and I put it between my mattresses. So I put the stop sign on the bed, and I would set the scales on it, the baggies, everything. And I would sit there and bag up. Money, the gun. Like, I loved the game. I like to lay everything out in front of me so I could see it. Even though I should have probably had it all out, I did. And I'm sitting there bagging up, and I've got the music. I don't know if you remember the Mad Lion, like a reggae. Mad Lion. After I got full, really loud in the room at the time, and I'm bumping and I'm bagging up, and something tells I can just feel her presence, and I'll look up, and she's standing in the door looking at me. There on that stop sign lays weed, slabs of yak, the scale, money, this little Davis 380 I had at the time. All of this is laid out and full display right in front of me. She told me, she said, put all that stuff in the bag, grab whatever clothes you're going to take, and get out of my house. I was 16. She was like, I have other kids to look after, but I work and work and work. You're not going to take them down. This is what you want to do with your life. Take it and go. And me being a 16 thing, I got the world figured out. I don't care, man. And all my stuff up, threw my backpack on. And from there, she got real, man. It got real, and it got real fast when I didn't have that home to come on to no more and turn that lock to walk into, when I didn't have that bedroom to lay down in, when I didn't have that shower or that refrigerator to open. When I left out that door, it was me, my backpack, and whatever I had in my pocket. Things from there got much worse.
You know, some young dudes listening to this right now, right? And they're at home and they got it made. They don't realize it, right? They're 15, 16. They're doing their thing. They're making a couple dollars. They think they're a man, but really, they're not a man. You're living at your mother's house still. And I want them to know, man, that when this happens, and it happens all the time, you know, it ain't just the Jay Williams or the Chad Marks or this guy or that guy. It happens, man, and it gets real. When your mother says, look, man, we ain't going to be living like this. My mother used to tell me, you know what's going to happen? You're going to die. You're going to end up in prison for the rest of your life. She told me in 2003, the end of 2002, she said, you're going to die this year. You're going to end up dead. And February 4, 2003, I ended up catching a Fed case and got a 40-year sentence. But it's real, man. That's when it gets real, right? When your mother kicks you out, you're out on the street. How real was it?
I remember the first place I slept was under a bridge in my neighborhood. I went to one of my homeboys' houses. He was 15. I was a little older than some of the kids, and some of the kids were older than me. I was like in the midway. I go to my homeboy's house, and I was known for being out late. I knock on his window. It's a school night. I'm like, what's up, man? He comes to the window, and he's like, first he's like peeking out the blinds because it's pitch black outside, and he can't see. I'm like, yo, it's me, man, open the window. So it was a window. I'm like, when I come in, he's like, oh, man, it's like, it's 10 o'clock at night. What are you doing? I said, look, I'm kind of out and about. Come on, let's go outside. I ain't told him I've been kicked out.